much time making sense of. I used to be in the SEO industry, and I know what happens in terms of trying to rank pages on page one. A lot of the time, what is being surfaced is not the best information for what you're searching for. It's people who have been able to game the system. But with Perplexity, it's able to scan the entire web, not the entire web, but pair your search and synthesize the information and give you exactly what you need. So when doing research, I recommend Perplexity. Now, other tools have begun to bring in web search into their tools. Perplexity is still the leader out there. So I personally recommend Perplexity. So that's market research. Number 2 is meeting note taker. Now, this one is awesome ever since I discovered this one. So now, you all know this as business analysts. Part of what you do is you're in lots and lots of meetings, right? And if you're lucky, you'd have another colleague or another BA that you can take with you to that meeting to especially take notes. If not, it's only you going into these meetings. You're talking to technical people, you're talking to stakeholders, lots of conversations are going on. You're meant to be participating in the meeting as well as taking notes. Now, you know how difficult that is. So meeting note takers allows you to use AI to record the meetings. And then after the meetings, it would generate summaries after the meetings. Now, you've probably seen this with Google because they recently released one. You've probably seen it on Meet as well, and Teams, sorry. So, they record and take the transcription of the meeting and then do the summaries after. But the cool thing about Blue Dot, and that's what this is, it's actually called Blue Dot HQ. The cool thing about Blue Dot is it joins the meeting discreetly. So some of the other ones out there usually would have some form of bot. There's Otter AI. It would have a bot and it would join the meeting and it will be awkward. But with Blue Dot, it doesn't have any bot that joins the meeting. It just records the meeting on the background. You can inform your organization. You should be informing the people, the participants of the meeting, that you've got your recorded meeting. But it won't have any bot joining the meeting. It just records the meeting in the back end and then generates summary after, and then allows you to go back to the meeting and actually ask questions to the meeting notes. Maybe there are areas that you forgot and you just want to summarize it, or you want to go back and recheck your thinking around that. You can actually chat with the meeting. This is amazing because I use this even up until recently. I'm currently in the process of doing some discovery work, and it's just great to be able to have this, taking those meetings notes, and then I go back to it and I just say, summarize this for me, and literally it will summarize the pain points, summarize the challenges, summarize suggestions, and it's just like boom, like that. So meeting note takers, amazing. Blue Dot, I recommend. Next is drafting requirement documents. So of course, as BAs, part of what we do is do lots of documentation, using AI to, whether we're generating requirement documents or we're generating a plan, or we supporting the project manager to come up with a project charter. We're always doing some form of documentation, user stories, acceptance criteria. Documentation is bread and butter of what we do. And so PCI is what the tool I'm recommending, not because we built the tool, but because it's a really, really good tool, and it was built by business analysts, product owners for other business analysts and product owners. Like, there are tools in here that you wouldn't even think that you need, and has come from experience. Things like going into a meeting and translating technical jargons into business stakeholders kind of concepts with an analogy attached to it that you can use to explain to them as well. So that's how we built PCI. We built it with 35 specific BA tools: user story generator, acceptance criteria generator, many other types of one-page project plan, different types of tools. 35 of them we have in there. We've also built in product personas, right? So the business analyst, which is trained with CBAP certified, BCS certified, We've got the product owner, the product manager, the data analyst. We've got all these different personas which you can have a chat with, as though you were them, so that you can use their knowledge to add value to the project that you're in. Also, beauty with privacy in mind, because we know we're all professionals and we're working in like professional environment, dealing with data. And so we've built this with like data security in mind as well. So that's PCI for drafting requirement document. Number 4, analyzing data. So I used to previously say to myself that I was in, I don't like working on data. It's not really, like, I'm all right with it, but it's just not, I just rather not. But with AI now, if you understand the fundamentals about data, which, part of what we teach in our AIBA course, then now you can use tools to amplify your skill in this area, right? So you don't necessarily need to know you don't need to know the SQL query in your head, because now with AI, you can tell it what you're trying to achieve, and it will generate the SQL query for you, and then you take that and then go and run that, right? Same thing with Excel, same thing with Google Sheets or any other tool out there. So now you can comfortably work on data, because you've got tools, AI tools that allows you to do that. Formula Bot is what we recommend here. It's a super great tool. It's built, the guy who built it used to be a data analyst himself for about 15 years, and then just built this tool. So it generates SQL queries, Excel. You can use it to do some predictive analysis. You can use it to do some simple data analysis as well. So that's Formula Bot, and that's analyzing data. Number 5, creating process map. Now, when we're building PCI, this was one of the requests that came up a lot, creating process map. It's a difficult thing to do with AI because AI doesn't necessarily know how to create process map, and that should give you some level of comfort that AI is not going to take your job if you're good at creating process map, because this is one area that there are not lots of tools that are able to do this very well. But I found 2, but I'm only talking about one here, and that's Jedi.ai. So the tool is really cool. It allows you to use prompt to generate process flows, flowcharts, wireframes, and then allows you to be able to edit what it is actually generated, which is really the cool thing. So try Jedi.ai out because it's a cool tool. Number 6, presentation. So now with AI, for those of us who dread presentation and are not quite design savvy, now with AI, you can easily create nice looking presentations that really impresses your stakeholders. So with a very simple prompt, you can generate slides using a tool called Gamma. It's the best I've seen, one of the best I've seen in the industry. So check Gamma out. It allows you to create really nice looking presentation for your project, for updates, for things like that. Yeah, really cool tool. Number 7. So of course, there are a few of us who are in the market, constantly looking for the next opportunity. So job application is one of the very important use case that AI is really good for. So a tool like Teal, which is one of the good ones out there, would allow you to use AI to build a CV or match the CV to the job description. A really, really important thing I always recommend when you're applying to jobs, make sure that you're matching your CV to the job description. And Teal is one of those tools that will allow you to do that very easily. AI interview practice, I think that's really cool. You know how, like, as I support people and that are looking for roles, one of the asks that always come is, can you do interview prep with me? Teal allows you to use AI to actually interview you on the job that you're actually going to go. So that's a really cool feature they've got. You can track interviews. You know how you apply to many places and then you're not even sure which one is calling you for, and you don't know, which interview that is coming up and that. So this allows you to track all your different interviews. And then of course, LinkedIn allows you to create a LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn headline generator as well. They've got some really, really cool tools too. So check it out. Those are the 7 core use cases. And of course, bonus mention ChatGPT. I mean, who isn't using ChatGPT? But the thing is, though, a lot of people are not using ChatGPT in the way in that that they will get the maximum output from it. For example, I'm sure if I ask how many people are paying for ChatGPT in the group, which actually we should do actually, how many people are paying for ChatGPT in here? How many people? If you are, give me a thumbs up if you are. How many people are actually paying for ChatGPT? Not a lot of people. Okay, there you go. This is one person. See? Okay, 2, 3. Yeah. So few of us, majority of us, are not actually paying for ChatGPT. I mean, imagine you have a professor who is your executive assistant. That's what ChatGPT is like, and you just only have to pay $20 for that professor. Like, it cost me $100K to get my PhD, and I'm not even close to a professor. And here you have this amazing tool that can do everything for you. It's just $20 per month. So bonus mention, ChatGPT, really good tool. If you pay for it, there's so many other features that are in there that you can get value from. And I talk about some of those things in the course. So that's it. I'm gonna pause there to answer any questions that you might have so far. Any questions? Annie, your hand is raised. Do you have you got a question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead, Annie. Well, that was a lot. Thank you. That's a good pause point. Any questions on the AI tools? I saw some chat flying. Anybody want to just call out the questions that you're putting in the chat? What do you guys think about some of these tools? Have you been using any of them? Any experiences that you've had with any of them? No questions today. Well, we have a quiet group of BAs today.
Are you blown away at the amount of I was just like, whoa, I didn't even know this exists.
Yeah, a lot of people are not actually implementing the technology in their day-to-day jobs. It's just they know it exists, it's out there somewhere, but they haven't seen the utility of it yet. But they have to, because that's where we're going.
Why?
Yeah.
I went through the route of actually letting you know the use cases so that you actually know, okay, actually I can use it to do that. Oh, I can use it to do this thing. Oh, I didn't know I could use it to do this thing. Because yes, you can, and this is what allow you to be to be 10x, right? Allows you to do more with your skills.
Yeah, and there was a lot of AI being just embedded in what we do anyway without us having to go out of our way. Like, for example, right now this call is being tracked with Gemini, it's taking all the notes. And sometimes if you're working in teams, it does that. So we already have it like being thrown at us. So if you don't literally get ahead of it, then you're just going to be left behind. You're literally going to be left behind.
Yeah. Cars.
So
yeah, Karen.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Kai's asking about AI tools for wireframes. So Jeddah.ai is does wireframes the way we want to do wireframes. So there are different types of wireframes levels, right? You've got low fidelity, mid, and then high fidelity wireframes. For low fidelity wireframes, which is usually where you would operate as a BA, Jeddah.ai does that. There are other tools that does high fidelity wireframes that will literally do the almost the entire design for you. You can then take and go and give your either your UX person, not devs, it's not that level yet. UIZ is one of those ones. I'll just put it in here. UI, I think that's how you say it. I'll have to let me do that first. UI. Yeah, I got it right. Weird. Yeah. So
Do I
yeah,
that?
check that out. Literally, you
Who is naming these AI tools? Who's coming up with these
technical
names?
people. That's why they need us BAs.
They didn't have a BA. I'm sure
Definitely not. Definitely not.
they did not have a BA.
You just put the speech description. Yep. That'll do that. How would you recommend using these tools? Those who are searching for BA jobs but not currently working. One.
Hold on. I want to read it out clearly so that everybody who's on the live can hear that they don't have the benefit of this call. And by the way, I'm not sure if the live is streaming well, so I'll ask Joshua to take a look at that. So the one that Taryn asked was, how would you recommend using these tools for those that are searching for BA jobs but not currently working as one? So if you're in the field just looking for a job, how would you, which tools would be good to know so that maybe you could mention them in your interview? And how would you use them just to practice before you actually have a need for them because you're not working in the field every day? Any thoughts on that?
So I guess it depends on the use case. So one, you're hunting for jobs. So I guess the top of mind for you is, how can I use it to improve my CV? How can I use it to adapt my CV to the job? How can I use it to do some interview practice? So the tool Till that I talked about will do all of this for you. If you have paid ChatGPT or even the free one as well, you could use it as well to do some interview practice. But Till is specifically built, and I talk about generalist tools and then specialized tools. Till is a tool that's built specially for that. So I'll say check that out. Then in terms of maybe leveling up some of your skills as you look for jobs, I'd say give Formula Bots a try out. So, not everybody works with data a lot. So I'd say go and find data sets out there and use a tool like Formula Bots to actually wrangle data a bit, play with the data, get some insights from the data. This would begin to give you some level of comfort, because now you can then also add to your skill set as you've got fundamental data skills because you've practiced it. So I'll use the AI tool to begin to practice, doing SQL, doing some advanced Excel analysis.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Tools being free. Before we get to that question, I want to talk about something else. So, when you talk about jobs, so we were having a lunch and learn at my job, right? We do this a lot. We just order food and we're sitting there and talking about stuff. So we're talking about AI tools, and I was having a conversation with our HR, the head of HR. And part of the actual way that they're vetting people coming in is actually using AI tools to scan their resume to see if it's a copy of some other resume. So it's not just for the resume. You using the AI to improve your resume is one thing, but they're also checking to see if it's just does this exist on the internet somewhere else that you just copied and pasted? So you got to be very careful as you're going out there, reusing. You can always tweak a resume, that's fine, but I always talk about this in all of my stand-ups. You have to still make the resume reflect you, right? You can't just copy what's out there and put it out there, because the tools can tell you, oh, this is an AI generated resume, or this is an AI generated thing. So you want to add your personality in there and make it personal so that you can stand out from the crowd.
I think that's a good point for me to carry on and talk to some of the mistakes that I see happening. But quickly addressing Maggie's question, are the tools free? A lot of those tools would offer you free versions of to use, to try out, and then they'll have to get the advanced features, you'd have to pay. There are different ways to approach this. I'm currently building a database and directory for business analysts and product owners, and it's going to contain over 50 tools for all of these different use cases. And in there, we're going to have what is called GPTs. GPTs are free to use if you have ChatGPT. And then if you have free ChatGPT, you get even more free usage. So you only pay for ChatGPT, and then you have access to all these specialized tools. So once that, if you follow me on LinkedIn. Once that comes up, you hear about it. But I would, and this part one, some other thing I talk about in the course as well. I would change my mindset to, like, think about what is the value I'm actually going to get from some of these tools, as opposed to thinking, how can I not pay for them? Just think, okay, if I use these tools, what's the value I'm going to get from them? And is the value I'm going to get for them more than how much I'm going to pay? Say, for example, the data analysis one. Like I said to you, I personally, while I'm all right with data, like I just rather not. But now with AI tools, if I have an AI tool that can be doing all my data analysis for me, it's worth $15 every month. Like for me, like what I pay for the tool Blue Dot, as another example, for meeting note taker. That is, if that tool was $50 every month, I would be paying for it, because it is painful to be we're on meetings all the time, and it's painful to keep track of all these meetings, participate in the meetings. You're taking your meeting notes. Like, it's worth it in gold. So that's how I would.
I want to add to that. I want to add to that. Time is your most valuable resource. Okay, and if I can do my job with less time, I will do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so because the part of you being a good PA is being able to put your analysis over something. So if you're spending the time just grabbing the data and doing all of this grunt work, that's not the most useful part of your time. And if you can get it a whole day's work done faster because you have this tool, you're not being replaced. You're using the tool and you're adding your human value with the interpretation and the analysis you're going to put over the data, but you're getting the data faster because you're using the tool to get it. So yeah, if this thing can help you save time, that's what you should do. The only thing I would say is some companies do have restrictions on how much of your data you can upload to some third-party system. So you have to make sure that it is within the realm of what your company allows, so you're not breaking any policy, right? So.
That's right. I'll touch on your question as I go through the 3 mistakes to avoid. So we've already started, Carl's already touched on some of the mistakes to avoid, but there's 3 main mistakes to avoid as you use AI tools. And one is making AI do all the work. So you're still the boss. Don't forget that. Some of the things I see is people completely just, are using AI to replace their thinking and then copy and pasting. Do not be that person. You're still the boss. You're meant to direct the AI on how and what it should do. You're meant to make sure you give it enough context so that it gives you the best result, and you're meant to still cross-check. So that's the next one. So the next mistake I see is people not removing traces of AI. Having worked in it a lot, it's easy now for me to spot when someone has used AI, whether that's generating emails or LinkedIn. LinkedIn, just make sure you're removing AI traces, and there are different tips and ways to do this. And then lastly is using the wrong tools, which we've kind of touched on. So using generalist tools instead of specialist tools. Different tools have been built for specific use cases. You want to make sure that you're using the right tool for the right job. So those are the 3 mistakes that I see. Just to touch on the question there, I think it was by Anne. Any tips on how to resume preparation to be picked up by AI resume readers? Thank you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I have a 9-year-old and she's dying to come in this room too.
So preparing for AI, so the way to do this is, so you'd have people, so going to the mistakes, right? You'd have people who would just take their CV, put it into ChatGPT, and tell it to create a CV that is for XYZ role, right? And that's the wrong way to do it, because millions of other BAs are doing the same thing, and AI have its jargons, and then all CVs begin to sound and look the same. And this is how employers are able to know that it's ChatGPT that's done it. So what you want to do, like Carl's already mentioned, is make sure that you use your own stories. You bring in, you edit it. You make sure you give it enough context about your roles, and really fine tune it to, exactly, make it unique to you, as opposed to just using generalist ones to generate the CV. So I hope that answered the question. Any suggestions on places to apply for BA jobs beside LinkedIn? So I'm in a community, and this comes up a lot. And I did say to them that I was going to also build many things to do. I was going to build a list of different places to apply for BA, or not just BA jobs, but IT roles aside from LinkedIn. Being that we're global BA here, there's probably like so many different places to go to apply. Here in the UK, we've got JobServe. I know Indeed cut across. There are different links and job marketplace. I'll work with my team to build one and share with you once that is ready. Is it wise to use the free version? Then after getting the job, you can actually pay for the full version to better your job task. What's your take on this? Absolutely fine. I absolutely understand. If you don't have the funds right now, that's fine. You don't have to purchase it. There are lots of free. You will get a lot of value from the free versions. To be honest, you will get a lot of value from them. And once you're in the place where you can purchase, then purchase one. You don't have to purchase the paid version to everything. Just purchase the paid version to one, which I talk to on the course, and I talk about building your AI tech stack. Right? I have my AI tech stack, the ones that I pay for. So you want to build your own. The ones you pay for, not everything, and the ones that you pay for, that you get the most value from everything else. So it's all right to start with the free versions. Using AI is one thing. Another is knowing how to prompt the AI tool, correct? How can business analysts know how to prompt this AI to get quality results? I love all these questions. So I talk about this a few times in the course. I talk about three really good ways to prompt AI. One of the ways is giving it examples, right? So if you had an assistant that was working with you who's just started their job as your assistant, how would you train that person? You would tell them what to do, yes, but you'd also show them how to do the thing. You'd give an example of that thing that's been done, and then you say, look, this is this thing being done. This is how I write my emails. This is an example of a few emails I've written. Make sure every email you write looks like this. Now, if you do that to AI, it's very good at copying that. So one of the things that we did with Pace AI, to give you an example, one of the tools, our BRD business requirement document tool, is my partner went to find over 20 different of the best business requirement tools out there. And then we use that to actually train a bespoke model to be able to create business requirement document in that specific way. So one of the best ways is to find an example of what you want and then show it to the AI and then tell it to generate things that way. I have two other ways to prompt very well with like a template in there as well. And you can grab it once I go to the course part. What's the difference between a business analyst, product owner, and product manager? Good question, Farabi. Even though it's not per the topic we're discussing, but I'll answer because I have been a BA, been a product owner, and been a product manager. I actually saw a very good Venn diagram that explained this very well. I can't remember everything inside of it. I'll find out and share. But as a business analyst, how do I explain this? Let's start with business analyst and product owner. So we all know about Scrum. We all know the Scrum methodology. So within Scrum, this is where the whole concept of a product owner came from, right? So you've got a product owner, you've got a Scrum Master, and then you've got your Scrum team. Now, in the industry, a few years ago, there was a conversation around where the BA role lies inside of the Scrum team. I think we now have settled with the fact that the BAs are needed, which is another important learning point for AI projects going on right now. But your product owner is the one who is responsible for managing the backlog, responsible for ensuring that what the user gets the benefit from the product. So they're user facing. Your BA is essentially taking what the product owner has sort of identified and then breaking it down into user stories for the developers to work on. So in a way, they are more downward facing. So you're working with the developers, day to day to just help and clarify requirements that's come from the product owner. Now, even though I say that differentiation in that way, there are lots of places where those two mix up a lot. Because you find BA sometimes also gathering requirements and talking to end users to gather requirements, and you also find product creating user stories. In short, a lot of organizations, if they could get away with just only working with the product owner, they will only hire a product owner, and you find yourself doing a lot of BA tasks. Like that's a lot of the times that is what happens with where I've worked. And then with product manager, a product manager in organizations that allow for product manager to exist where a product owner is. The product manager a lot of the times would be very, very much upward and management focused and facing. They're the ones who are understanding the larger strategy of the business and taking that down and breaking that down and defining the end-to-end product strategy for what needs to be built. And then you pass that down to the product owner to then kind of shape the user stories and work with the BAs to shape that. I find it interesting when organizations have BAs, POs, and product managers. I always ask the question around how efficient that is. But a lot of the time you either have a product owner and a BA, or you have product manager and a BA, or a mix like that. But the roles, they mix in different places, but at the same time there are areas of focus for each one of them. What about technical product manager? It's interesting. Can't go into too much details. I read a little bit in the course. Actually, not a lot, but it's something that I'm beginning to push a lot. I say that as BAs and product managers now, we don't have the excuse anymore to say. I used to say I'm not technical, and even though I say I'm not technical, I do have a technical mind and system thinking mindset, and this is something I'm beginning to advise every BA and product owner to imbibe, because to be honest, the job market is competitive out there. The more technical you are, the better you stand out. So even though you're not necessarily coding, just make sure that you have a system thinking mindset. It's just basically understanding how systems work together, and being able to converse with developers in their language. Essentially, that's what being a technical product manager will be about.
Yeah, and Patrick, I had put in the chat the link to my podcast episode where I talked about the difference between roles and what you can use to gauge if you should be doing BA or PO or PM. Like, what is it that you should be doing? So I give some tips on there, so guys can check out that podcast episode. And I also have an article up on karaleise.com that talk about if you want to transition from BA to PM, or if you want to do PO, like how does that transition work? So you can find those on karaleise.com as well.
Awesome. All right, so to round things up on this side, you can get, if you want all of those tools that I've just run through, you can get that if you by just going to either you scan the QR code or you go to this link, and you can download the sheet. It's free. I'm not charging for it. So you can grab it there. And just to quickly run through an opportunity I'm currently seeing. So I have this come about. I currently, as Kara mentioned, I work as a product manager, and working as a product manager, I'm in a position to see some of the how the industry is being shaped. I've seen colleagues who are requesting for the need for business analysts. I myself need one, and also this prompted me to begin to do some research around what is it that is in the space, what is happening in the space, what happens to BAs, in the era of product manager. And the image you're looking at in front right now is a Google Trend report. And one on the left-hand side is the term AI business analyst, and on the right-hand side is AI consultants. And these, as you can see, there's an upward trend in those two terms, AI consultant and AI business analyst. Why? Lots of organizations are currently like launching AI projects. I was speaking to recruiter last week. I spoke to two actually. One was saying how every organization is looking at they're looking at launching AI projects, and they're looking for professionals who understand AI, who can come and help the businesses to get value from the projects that they're actually launching. The second recruiter I spoke to was, we're discussing opportunities of over 100,000, not dollars, pounds, for AI professionals who can come in and help them define what that AI product is going to look like. So there is a growing opportunity in this place. And also, WEF released this, skills of the future chart. Essentially, they said that these are the skills that are on the rise in the next 5 years. And if you read the top 6 or so skills on this chart,
if you can read it for us, because it's kind of hard to see.
Oh, sorry, it's everything that we already have. The first one is AI and big data, right? So you need to have, know AI, and need to understand data as well. The next one is networks and cybersecurity, which is a growing area. And then the third one is technological literacy. So to the person who asked about being a technical product manager, this is where this is where that comes in. So it's a skill that's on the right technological literacy. The fourth one is creative thinking, which as BS we should already have. Resilience, flexibility, and agility. Again, as BS we should already have. Curiosity and learning, as BS we should already have this. Talent management. So a lot of the skills we already have it as BAs. The places where we probably need to now upskill on is AI and big data. And once you have that, that opens you a huge opportunity to begin to be able to work on AI projects. So I took all of that research I'd done and a lot of what I was in the industry, and then poured all of my experience in becoming an AI in my journey from going from someone who was non-technical to actually working as a AI product manager, launching amazing tools for billion-dollar in industries, working in front of all sort of stakeholders and clients, building AI tools, to just like putting all of that experience into a very simple, affordable course. Only talking about the things that you really need to know to be that business analyst that's confident on working on AI project. And so that's led us to launching a course called the AI Business Analyst Blueprint. How to become an AI business analyst, even if you haven't come from a technical background or have experience in AI. Essentially, we are, only again talking about the things you really need to know, the data, the skill set that you really need to know, everything about AI that you really need to know to be able to confidently work on AI projects. That is currently going for way more than it is here, but because of Kara, we've put in a code for you. If you're interested, check it out. If not, that's fine. Download my free cheat sheet. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Ask me any other questions you would like to know, and I'm happy to always help out. And that's me.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Patrick, that was amazing. Thank you so much for all of these wonderful, wonderful nuggets. Oh my goodness, this is so power packed. I'm so happy that you are able to share all of this with us, and I know that everybody's excited about the stuff that they'll learn from you. So this is the code Global BA, okay, and the link is AI4businessanalyst.com. So you go to AI4businessanalyst.com, put in the code Global BA, and you'll be able to get a special discounted rate for this awesome course that Patrick and his team has put so much effort into. So thank you so much for sharing that. But also, can you go back and share the QR code? I think a lot of people wanted to see that QR code again.
Sure.
So here's the QR code if you guys want to download the list he's put together of all of these AI tools that's going to be very helpful for your career. You can just scan it here. I'll leave it up for a little bit. Amazing stuff. I don't even know where to start. I learned a lot because I have not been using all of these tools either. I've only used a few of them. So I learned a lot from just talking to you here. Awesome. And I think there's also some people who want your LinkedIn. So if you're able
Correct.
to share that in the chat or share that with me, I can put it out on the live as well, so they can connect with you to learn more
All right.
about your
Put
product
it.
tools and your knowledge. Kind of pick your brain a little.
Absolutely. I think we also have a question
Yeah.
in the. Yep, that's gone. Okay, so Chu is asking, during an interview process, can the BA mention that they use AI tools to generate results? For instance, most business analysts don't enjoy working with data, like myself, or might not know SQL too well. Can the BA mention to the potential employer that they use AIs to generate these SQL queries? Most jobs requirement want the BA doing. Cara, I'll let you take that one. What's your thought? I mean,
So
I have an opinion, but I want to hear yours.
yeah, I think in the interview you want to show your aptitude, right? You want to show your ability to do a good job. You want to show that you have analytical ability. So I think by just saying that the AI is doing it for me, you don't want to give that impression. You don't want it to look like the AI is doing all the work and you're just there watching the AI. So if you can explain, and storytelling is very important in your interviews, right? Being able to craft a proper story, you can tell them that you leverage AI tools to get the raw information or to get information like maybe on data, maybe on it's AI assistance. Like you can get the AI to help you get started, but you provide your analysis, your thoughts, your creativity, all of these skills that you have as a BA using the tools that are available in the modern world, right? So, because sometimes we think that we have to prove that we know everything from scratch. And yes, you do know everything from scratch. But if you have a tool that's going to help you to get there faster, the employer doesn't want you to be wasting time either. So you can show that you are able to leverage these tools to arrive at the result faster. But you're also applying your own analytical skills is also a good thing to say. So I think it really depends on how you tell the story and be able to craft that you're providing input, like you're not just relying on these tools, you are the actual human who's going to make the decision. It's just another tool for you to get there faster. That's what I would
Yeah.
say.
The question, Cara, would you solicit the information if not asked?
No.
Exactly.
I would not be the one to offer this up. If they ask
Exactly.
me, then I want, because there's some jobs that want to make sure that you are kind of modern, right? That you're not lost in the Excel world where everything is an Excel table. They want to know that you know these tools and you can use them. But if they don't ask me, I wouldn't be the one to like start leading with that. That would not be the first thing I would want to say for sure.
Exactly. I think that answers the question. That was my position. Yes, thank you everyone doing the reverses. Okay, you just ask that again. As someone who writes SQL, I would suggest you can also say that you use AI to assist you interpret error messages. I like that. That's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. This is amazing. I really love the engagement. I love the questions that have been asked. It really got me thinking. And I always love doing this because then it helps me understand the needs of the people and how we can help them. Myself, my co-founder, we're on a mission to help a million business analysts, with AI, to make sure that you 10x your impact. And don't be scared. Your skills that you've got are very, very much relevant, even in the AI world. A lot of these businesses, trust me, I'm speaking to like some of the biggest, industries. They have no clue how to get value from AI. We are still relevant as business analysts. They need consultants like yourself to help them get the value from all of these AI features. It's the cool thing now, but our job is to help them bring value to the business. So there's a place for you. Just learn the tools, learn the lingo, and get your hands dirty.
Yeah, and I want to say that almost every business has this push towards AI, right? As you
Yeah.
guys know, I work in banking, and some banks are still in the dark ages with, with their systems, but even them want to be like in the modern age, like trying to do AI stuff. So you're not losing by investing in knowledge of this, learning how to do the prompts, learning how to use these tools that Patrick has shared, doing the course to learn some more about how to apply to the business analysis space. You're not losing because the companies want to know that they have a workforce of people who are on the cutting edge we're helping them to move into the new era, right? Which is going to be AI. We can't hide from it. It's here. It's already here. There's no going back. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. You have to just learn it and incorporate it and master it and use it to your advantage. Like when I was when I first started my career, and I know we're at time, but when I first started my career, we were talking about online banking at the time. We were, this was a new thing. I'm dating myself now. So people were going to the branches and we're coming up with online banking. And, we had some pushback from some of our, more legacy people. And we were like, you know what? We cannot be out here building cartwheels for carts when people have moved on to cars, right? You're just going to be left in the wind. So we're at the cusp now of something that's coming up. We don't really know how to use it all. There's so many of it. Like I get bombarded all the time with all these tools. Like which one do I use and what do I use it for? And I've tried a lot of them. Some work, some don't work. It's a little bit of trial and error to see which one's going to help you. But I think just having the mindset to change, to learn, to adapt, to grow is what you need. And as we have the core skills that a lot of people don't have, we have the analysis skills. So it doesn't matter what the tool is that comes by. We can use our analysis over that and we can make it work for our advantage. So we are properly positioned to make the best use of this change that the world is going through. And all we need to do is just to be right there when it's happening and keep abreast of it and be on top of it. And we should be definitely successful as we go through this. Yeah. All right. So here you have this, the scan. And if you go back to the code, the page that had the code. Cool.
Global BA.
And so you put that code into AI for BA. And this is his contact on LinkedIn. So for sure. Now we're at time. So those who have to drop, thank you so much for joining. And if you have to drop, that's fine. I'm going to stay a little bit more. I don't know if Patrick had some time. Is there any question that you guys have that, normally we have these open sessions where you can ask about questions. Any questions to anybody who is in the job market that's still, struggling to find a job? Any questions from anybody who is actually having a job, working in the field and gotten stuck on some project or something? Is there any last questions I can answer for anybody on the call that would need some assistance in their career? No? All right. That sounds pretty good. Well, all right. Well, if we have no further questions, thank you again, Patrick. This was amazing. I'm going to share this on my website as well. Yes, and we connect later. I'm going to share the QR code on my website so you guys can go check it over there. And also, check out Patrick's thing that we talked about here with the code Global BA. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bye.
Hold on.
Bye.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.